Hello everyone, this is Bryant with sfotsource.com, your premier guide to Six Flags Over Texas. We're here at Six Flags Over Texas. It's the pretty much the end of daily summer operations here in August. Nice and hot, but tons of things going on. Of course, we have the dive coaster construction moving forward. We also have the renovation of Southern Palace Theater and other park projects going on all around. And then, of course, other big changes from a nationwide standpoint with the 2026 season passes going on sale. And then a bit of a tumultuous time with the second quarter results from a corporate standpoint. So we'll talk a little bit about that, give our 2 cents, kind of tell you what you can expect with the brand new pass structure moving into 2026, plus our thoughts on the ever-changing difficulties of the investor-related side of the chain. So let's head into the park. So right off the bat, you've got a little bit of new stuff going on here at the front. You've got more of these like shade structures going up. So you now have one here on the left side that matches the one that was already there on the right side. And then to the right of guest relations, they had another one go up. So just little shade structures. Well, I imagine some benches or some tables or something will be over here at some point. But oh my gosh, look at this Fright Fest update. So one of the big changes coming for 2026 is that Flash Pass will turn into Fastlane, which is kind of the Cedar Fair legacy standard. However, if you purchase Fastlane for 2026, you will have access to Flash Pass for the remainder of 2025. So a little bit confusing, but if you have any questions, I urge you to come visit guest relations. But just really a change in the name, and Fastlane, in my opinion, is a little bit more simplified, some good and some bad. Right here across from Flag's Funnel Cakes, you had a Star Mall refill station, which has disappeared. Looks like they are probably working more to open this area up than anything. And this is right here in this Silver Star Mall area, but I do think we are actually going to head to the right first. We go to the left a lot, so let's go to the right through the USA section first. Now, I think before we continue further into the USA section, we're going to take a quick detour, cut into the center of the park, and head over into France and Old South to take a look at Southern Palace. So I'm sure y'all remember there was like a dry park cabana type of setup here in France. It looks like they've gone ahead and just transformed these into shaded seating areas with fans, which anything that's shaded and has a fan is awesome in my book. So just a little tiny change over here in France. And the work is continuing on here at Southern Palace. It looks like they are working on the brickwork that goes around the old fountains, but man, what a glow up Southern Palace is hit now. This is looking really good, still evolving, but nice and fresh. Looks like over here to the left, we're getting a little bit of a freshening up on these brick kind of planter walls. They have painted this kind of that like rust red color. There's still some bare brick, and you can kind of see that it needs a little bit of fixing up before they paint it or do anything like that. But take a look at the pillars, nice bright color with some kind of gold, green, brown accents. Spooky light included. They're working on that paint over there as well on that brick wall, but give you a little bit of a closer look at the doors. Kind of going with like a more earthy tone on the doors with some dark green trim, brownish on the doors. You've got the green kind of where your show signage normally goes, but give you a better look at what those pillars are looking like now. I really like the gold touch there at the top, really accents the architecture of the building for sure. All right, tried to find us a nice little spot out of the way to talk about the Q2 earnings for Six Flags. Net loss is down quite a bit. Attendance was down 1 million overall across all properties, which is kind of a concerning number to me. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of on the outside looking in. And then, of course, with that, naturally, your season pass sales are going to be down, your active season passes. And that was pushing about 600,000 when compared to last year. So what we've kind of seen with that is, writing was already kind of on the wall when you got rid of over 150 full-time employees. That included park presidents. So that's when they went to the regional manager kind of setup that we have now. But then I'm sure that you saw the 2026 season passes went on sale, and they're pretty much giving the place away again, which is kind of like an old school Six Flags thing. And, that's going to give them that temporary boost that they want from an investor standpoint. Now, keep in mind, these are my opinions. This is just the outside looking in, but ultimately it doesn't do anything to fix what's going on with the company and why people aren't coming to the parks. So, when you're thinking about this, it's like, you can pay less than $10 a month and you get an insane more amount of things than you did a year before. Access to over 40 properties, there's got to be some kind of value on that. And with these being regional parks, is that really like a selling point for the, casual theme park guest who comes 3 or 4 times a year? I'm not really sure. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below, but it's really just like one of those things where they're saying, look at all this crazy, look at all this stuff you get now, and it's a big sale, buy our passes right now. And, ultimately what this led to was the CEO, Richard Zimmerman's going to be stepping down. He was from the Cedar Fair side of things. I don't really think it mattered what he did. Six Flags, from a legacy park standpoint, was so just kind of dug into the ground before this merger even happened that it seemingly kind of pulled the whole product down after the merger. There's a lot of kind of citations to the legacy Six Flags parks, and the public is not dumb. When you advertise things and then you cut them and then you close marquee rides, just here at our park, you got rid of bobsled, which might not be a marquee ride, but it's very unique, and it is kind of a fan favorite here. Splashwater Parade was advertised, never happened. And then you have other parks where they're completely canceling Holiday in the Park, things like that. People pay attention to that, right? And you kind of have to determine, is the season pass worth it? I think King Dakar was probably the most abysmal non-announcement choice that they've made, and I think that really reverberates through the whole chain. Ultimately, the chain is way more worried about what investors are getting money-wise versus the guest experience, and your whole business is based off of guest experience. There's a lot of entertainment offerings, especially here in DFW. Family entertainment centers. You've got other smaller theme parks popping up, so it's not, people aren't just going to come anymore. They'll spend their money elsewhere if what they're getting here for the money is not worth it. I know that at the park level, the employees, all the teams, they're working so hard to build these experiences, but they constantly get things cut out from under them. And people know you're not fooling anybody. And like I said, this is just my opinion. Of course, they're going to put in a new CEO. It's not going to change the numbers. I think as long as you have the board that you have and the people that you have on the board who were responsible for digging Six Flags into a deeper hole pre-merger, I don't see how things get better, if that makes sense. But ultimately there's a ton of upside for Six Flags over Texas, just because we've been so far behind the curve in terms of down home theme park quality. I think Fright Fest is going to be really big this year. I think Holiday in the Park is even more promising with the leadership team that they have. And just walking through the park the little bit that we've done so far, it's so much cleaner than it kind of has been on average the last handful of years. So stay positive, but you know, things are ever changing all the time, and I don't know, it seems like we just go through the same cycle. I really wish that they would come up with some kind of change that would really shake things up and make things better for everybody, the guests that are paying to come to the parks, plus their investor base. So let's head back to the USA section, kind of get back into updating you about what's going on here at the park. Of course, we've seen these new refill stations pop up. This one is right in front of Aquaman Powerwave, but paper cup drink refills are now available to purchase with your season pass. So you can kind of bypass that souvenir cup situation and do the paper cup refills like the Legacy Cedar Fair parks. It is valid at your home park through 2025, and then starting in 2026, you can use it at other properties. Now, that being said, if you are one of the old school members, they haven't really said anything yet. Like, we don't know if we're going to have access to the paper cups. We don't know if what's going on with that. It's very up in the air. So we will talk about it once we know more. Oh, it's so tempting right now. Well, you know what this means. Another little kid probably went viral on TikTok getting knocked over by this big splash wave that comes through, ruining it for the rest of us. Fright Fest update. The haunted, spooky oil barrel jack-o'-lantern people barrels are back. I love it. Themed right into the Boomtown section super nicely, but no one told me there would be rats. Made our way into Gotham City, and because we track ride closures and wait times on SFOT Source, I did notice that Batman has been closed for a handful of weeks now. They do have some signage out there explaining that, and kudos to Six Flags. They actually had signage at the entrance of the park about this, so wasn't going to be a surprise when you walked in, which is good. And then of course the app has been updated with this as well, but very likely waiting on some kind of major part for this ride, and then I'm sure they will do everything they can to get it reopened. Also, there was that random locker bank right here out front of Batman the Ride. Looks like they've gotten rid of it. I feel like it didn't work for a while anyways, but turn it into shaded seating. So when did they put this like super fancy Coca-Cola queue out in front of this refill station? It's popping. This is always one of the last areas I feel like that changes when it comes to Fright Fest, but still says Hawkins High School on the side of the haunted house over here. Now we know The Conjuring is coming back for sure. We haven't heard about Stranger Things, but interesting that that is still up there. I know some other parks are getting rid of Stranger Things, so time will tell. Made our way more into Boomtown proper, and here at Runaway Mine Train, they have put up some new signage where the Flash Pass and General Line split on the stairwell. They built a railing on the stairwell kind of a little while ago, but this is the first time I'm noticing the two signs, so just a quick FYI on that. Of course, there's no better way to see what's going on with dive coaster construction than to head up to the top of the oil derrick, so let's do that right now. Alright, first things first, Fright Fest update. It looks like where the Saw Haunted House was, there's a brand new facade on the front of that. So, still looks like it could definitely be the Saw Haunted House, but maybe they are adding a little bit more, because it was I don't know, these two houses were kind of weird last year, so maybe they're looking at big improvements for the Saw Haunted House. I think this is the first time I've seen them actually doing a lot of active stuff over by Conquistador for the brand new dive coaster. So we do have footers going in down there. You can see the rebar and such popping up out of the ground. There looks like they're actively pouring concrete back there. And then of course out in the parking lot is where we saw them working on footers last month. So still lots of prep going on. It takes a while once you pour footers. It does take quite a while for that concrete to cure before you can do anything with it. So, but I think once that process is complete, you'll really see some movement. Oh yeah. So that gives you a pretty good idea of, you know, just how deep some of this stuff goes. They're moving that piece around. Will go into the ground so they can shape the concrete. Curious to see where they pop this one in at. Looks like right now they're just laying that bad boy down on the ground. You know, I'm looking at Flume 2 from up here, and Flume 2 is looking real fresh. So they might be doing a big refurb on Flume 2. We'll have to look when we're down there in that section of the park, but that is a vibrant looking drop there. Let me know in the comments below, have they added any more pieces to that far lot over there? That grass field? For the new dive coaster, or is that what we had last time we were here? I'm just curious. I haven't done the best at keeping up with all the pieces arriving, because, you know, the excitement for me is when things start going off the ground, if that makes sense. It also looks like from up here that work was done on the whole Southern Palace building, not just the front where the guests can see things. So that's very promising. I feel like a lot of things are more cosmetic than they are practical when it comes to maintenance, so really happy to see that. Fright Fest update. We made our way over into the Texas section by Pirates of Spelunker Cave, and we've got some set pieces, likely for a scare zone of some sort. Of course, you can't miss out on the burlap. Gotta have the burlap on the stuff to make it look spooky, but a lot of people will complain about stuff getting set up early, but if it means there's going to actually be stuff, then by all means, work away. So do we think this might be like a pirate-themed scare zone, or is that a little too spot on for the section? This is just a real small little thing, but the awning at JB Smokehouse Barbecue now has a sign again. Nice fresh sign to tell you what it is. We made our way over to the area by the station for New Texas Giant, and lots of new mulch, lots of new railing, themed railing over here to go with the Texas section. And then of course they have put this sign up just reminding you, Texas Railroad will return. We're just waiting on that new dive coaster to come together first. This is your friendly reminder that you can still catch the gunfighters on the weekends here through Labor Day here at Courthouse Stage. We posted this teaser on social media maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, but yeah, looks like we're getting a brand new restaurant here in Spain with the dive coaster, and I really like this aesthetic here. It's very vibrant and bright, so I hope that this design theme comes to the new things that are constructed here in this area. And so there's really not a good angle to see Flume 2 from the pathway right now, just with all the construction, but it definitely looks like they've been working on refurbishing this. Got a fresh coat of paint on that trough, nice and shiny, looking really good. And of course you've got your other signage, record-breaking thrills, Texas-sized thrills, and really nice landscaping through here as well. They've done a great job not making it look like a complete and utter construction mess over here. It looks professional, you know what I mean? Of course, I always like to stop off in the gift shops just to take a look at things, and it looks like they have a pass holder line for Six Flags Over Texas. These start at $24.99. It's got a pretty park-specific logo on there. You can also get it in a hat. And I guess they have these bags too. These are a little more nondescript, but looks like you can do the light pink or the light blue. There's the bag. How much is the bag? Okay, $25. Hat is also $25, and if you want to get a sweatshirt, you can, but I don't even want to look at that right now. It's enraging me with how hot it is, but love the idea. Always like to look at the ground dive coaster construction last, because I have the weird PTSD with all the security issues we've had here. Just, if I'm gonna get yelled at, let's do it at the end of the day. But we do have more footers that have popped up, and they're actively working back there. So these are coming really close to the park's front gate. All right, folks, that does it for this visit to Six Flags Over Texas. I am hot. The park is hot. The world is hot. My camera is telling me that it's hot. So I think it's time to go. Now, with everything going on from a corporate standpoint, all the turmoil there, this park is running really well. It was really clean. Everybody that we ran into was super friendly. And it seemed like pretty much everything was open with the exception of things that were down for technical difficulties. But overall, really pleasant experience here at the park. And I know we didn't dive super deep into the brand new pass levels, but our visit planner at sfotsource.com has been fully updated with all of the new offerings. So make sure you go check that out. It's going to be way less confusing if you look at it from that standpoint. Personally, I'm super excited to see all of the Fright Fest stuff already coming out. I think there's a much different mindset this year heading into Fright Fest, and I think we're going to see some improvements there. And of course, you have your dive coaster, which is slowly coming along. So once it really starts going, it's going to start going, I think. So exciting times ahead. If y'all have any questions about the park, Six Flags Over Texas, let us know in the comments below. Also, follow us on social media. I have a little bit more commentary on there right now about everything going on at the corporate level. If you want a little more insight, you can read the news story there as well. We thank y'all for watching. Take care, and we'll see you at a theme park.